Hi, this is King Noble Dumbass again. I almost missed my opportunity tonight to speak at the city council meeting. It wasn't very effective. I only had 3 minutes to speak, and I was late as fuck to get there. It turns out it was another good night because apparently other people were bitching about the same stuff. The corruption in the city council at Chula Vista. I'm practically Juan Rambo. I have issues with the Chula Vista Police Department because they drew primer sangre. That's Spanish for first blood. Pay attention, do I look anything like Stallone? No. I'm getting sick and disgusted with this country where you codify a bunch of lazy fucking police who can't do their goddamn jobs. Look at the foul language I'm using inside of a library because no one can really hear what I'm saying. See, that's the key with this. I get away with shit because I sleep on the mayor's doorstep. I use his fucking internet to post these videos. I'm complaining about that lazy son of a bitch. I'm complaining about the fucking police who can't do their goddamn jobs. And that cunt Kennedy, I saw her there, but she don't want to talk to me. She knows I can't stand their fucking police. They don't do their jobs. They have to bring in police from other cities to take care of the shit here because the police here are too lazy to do their jobs. People like Frank Gianni, he got promoted to detective and he can't do his job. He's actually needs to be arrested for embezzling taxpayer dollars. That's what it is. When these cops are corrupt as fuck, they're not doing their jobs. They're not protecting the city. They're not protecting this. They only come to calls because we gotta sit here somewhere. But they sit there doing nothing all day. This morning, I had disturbed a few cops over at the Chula Vista shopping center. 3 little pigs I saw there. Matter of fact, I posted those videos earlier. One, you see the 3 cops. About 5 minutes later, I went up there. They were all gone. Kind of like what happens over at the Church of Corrupt Cops back behind the, I think it's C Street. I mean, it's 3rd Avenue, but it turns into C Street down there by the DMV. When I was at the city council, Caroline Chavez asking about how much help they are for people who are not so tech savvy. I was trying to get my ID, you know, my fake ID the DMV gives out that says real ID. They got some new thing that they put up and that's the only thing. That's bullshit. What they're trying to do is they're trying to discredit people. They're trying to, basically, if you lose your ID, you're fucked. And you can't replace it too easily. It's being a pain in the ass. I had to do it several times. You can get done, but when you're broke because you're homeless, you can't replace it. You got to go find how to get the free things so they can waive the fees. The people there in the DMV are rude as fuck. They don't want to help. I heard a lady and they were saying something about hit the little QR code, and the actual response is, we're not going to help. We don't care. That's what they were told by the people at the DMV. This lady was in her 60s, almost 70s probably. Didn't understand the technology, and they weren't gonna help her. They wanted me to scan something with my cell phone. What I'm trying to tell them is my cell phone doesn't have service. My case managers don't understand that they're not doing their jobs. That's because the people above them don't want them to do their jobs. They are handlers. They're babysitters. They're not actually taking care of our shit. The only reason I'm getting an SSA advocate on my hand, and that's a Social Security Administration advocate on my side, is I went and sought for a lawyer. Now, Charles Knoll, a guy who lives downtown who I was getting my weed through, was telling me, you gotta call every day, call every day. Well, he never made sure that I called. The Wi-Fi thing I was borrowing from the library, basically stole it. He's been using it. Everything I get from me, he uses, and I got nothing left over. I'm being taken advantage of everywhere I go because I'm mentally ill. I suffer from bipolar disorder. 25-year career with this, and that I'm aware of it, probably even longer. No wonder I can't hold a fucking job. When I lost my job at Circuit City, it was because of management fuck up. They gave me a code saying I was putting money in, when in reality I was taking it out, so the money got counted twice. I'm trying to tell them where it's at, they don't want to hear it. I went with a guy to go shoot a wedding. When we were done with the wedding and whatnot, I got home, there were all these messages on my phone, come back to work, we found it. Where was it? Right where I told them. Would they listen? No. I was told this would be taken out of my file, which it was not. They promoted me to sales and did some other shit to me and screwed me over. I was being praised for having the lowest return ratio per my department, and the only thing I can sell was a freaking answering machine. And none of the other people could, that's a piece of junk. They always come, mine never do. Those salespeople forgot I started out in customer service, saving the sale. I found out exactly why that thing came back, and I made that my sales point. See, salespeople today do not know how to do their jobs. Today's world, we got people that have no work ethic, but think they deserve to get paid a lot of money, like at McDonald's. $20 an hour to sit there with your thumb up your ass and not get shit done. Orders get fucked up, and hey, I should get a promotion. Thank you, faggot Newsom. I'm not happy with you either. I'm gonna be putting this message out to the entire city council. I'm gonna make sure every one of them gets it, because I say they're all corrupt, including the city attorney. See, with my cases, my public pretenders made deals with the Satanic district attorney. See, the last time I was arrested, I had my hair braided by a Samoan brother in jail. And he asked me, I was gonna send him stuff. And I would love to do it, but I can't. Because all my shit's getting fucked up on the outside. But he made me promise him not to go back. And I'm trying to hold that promise to a brother that I really respect. A Samoan guy I barely knew. His name was Noah. The second time I got arrested, I believe it was maybe on the last time, one of my, no, it was the second time. I got out of jail, and the same night I got arrested, I was locked up with a guy who I got out with it the same day. He gave me a ride. He Ubered. We called his mom. His mom Ubered him a ride up to where he was living at. We got his car. Within a half hour, he scored some more fentanyl or crystal meth. I forget the two different drugs that he went and scored. But it was like a half hour after one, he scored the other one. He took me to a smoke shop up off of El Cajon Boulevard. Then dropped me off down in Chula Vista after everything was done. Now, like I said, back on his fentanyl, back on his meth, giving me a ride, and I'm in the car with him, and it's scary to see him because he says, oh, I don't fade out like that on fentanyl, and he's fading out. And then he says, oh no, after he took the meth, he cleaned his entire car in like 15 minutes. And then he's wondering why it's hot and he's sweating. And I was cold. It could be that he's kind of feeling the effects of what it's going to be like in hell. That guy's name was Christian Torres. I remember the last name because of Cesar Torres, the guy I was working at Circuit City when I got in trouble. He was the general manager at the time. And well, Hans Christian Andersen, boom, Christian Torres. I remembered that. There was a book of one of the cellmates I had when I was locked up in a cell. And that guy, well, I wanted to get some information from him too because he was Vince Neil's brother-in-law. You know, the lead singer to Motley Crue. And I remember way back in the day, Vince Neil killed somebody, vehicular manslaughter, never did time in jail. Well, my cellmate was his brother-in-law. He says his sister's a real bitch, doesn't like him. Vince Neil ain't gonna put no money in his books. Vince Neil's gonna be this. Vince Neil gets millions of dollars for his wife's horses, but her brother, he won't help. When I read the Bible and I start seeing about how end of times, brother against sister, brother against brother, mother against brother, I'm living it. I'm the black sheep of my family. My brother's being passive aggressive. First he tells me that he thinks he's got bipolar and he wants to know something about it. And he's trying to pretend that he cares. He promised me an Apple Watch I never got. Kind of like the police who promised me a 6-month stint of work. I got fired, and well, the program only lasted 3, and he was going to say, well, you can double it up. I couldn't. He didn't get proper authorization because Jeff Pace did not ask that faggot Frank Gianni if he could do that. So when he fired me in about 6 weeks, it was because of his own incompetence. The tweakers he put me in he put in one bathroom and I was in another one. I had 2 coats of paint by the time I was done, and they could barely get 1. He said he hated my efficiency because he loves wasting my tax-paying dollars. When he fired me, I went to Labor Finders, and they sent me to a place up in off of 32nd and Main called SA Recycling. I didn't get the job there either, but the guy that did had a special magnet that detects copper. And copper's not magnetic. What he didn't know is he had a steel ball bearing that had been copper plated for something else. I was telling this to somebody else, and he, oh, that's a this and this. Whoa, see, I didn't even know what the hell this is. I'm a high school dropout, and I've known other people who weren't really dropouts, but you listen to them and they know something about what they're talking about, but they don't know everything. They're crazy in one area, but they're a genius in some other. Well, I've not known people like that. I've been around people like that. What I can say is that, well, today's world, we're in trouble. So I'm gonna be sending this to the entire city council. I'm gonna send it to Pastor John Yanter. I'm gonna send it to the Chula Vista prayer team that I was supposed to have gotten that job with the Billy Graham Association. Pastor Yanter invited me to his 420 Easter services this year. I did not go because, well, he was going to have me arrested, he told me. I was inside the facility of the church. He taps me on the shoulder and asks me away. When I had family there from Seattle, Washington, and they invited me in. So I was invited in and then asked to leave by the pastor who wouldn't come to the NA meetings with me, who said he wouldn't go to the meetings, and then when I went to the meetings and I looked like an idiot by myself, and I got the literature he needed and I brought it back to him, and then he acted like he got it on his own. Look how he's screwing me. That's a pastor of a church. I've met Pastor Arthur Hodges, I think it is, over at the Pentecostal church down here, and I met him, shook hands with him personally the first time I went. More recently, I went, and it was a Spanish church, and they asked me to sign some stuff, and I did. And when they wanted to acknowledge that I was there, and I asked about Marilyn Manson, because the beautiful people, one of his songs, were all in there in that church with me praising God. I was practically jamming like I was Tommy Lee Jones or whatever, just on my air drums. And I don't know how to play the drums for anything, but I'm just kind of showing you what kind of idiot I looked like. Now, I'm having a good time in the church, and then when they asked me and I said that, and all they heard was Marilyn Manson, they thought I was praising him. You hear what you want. I'm trying to prove that that's exactly what happens. Because, like I said, a few weeks later, I saw him out there, and I was outside, and I mentioned Marilyn Manson, talking about how ugly he is, and that these people misunderstood. Oh, that was you? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, let me pray over you. And we got along. I'm probably walking back there anytime I want now. But across the street, where people love me, I was asked to leave a Temple Beth Shalom one Saturday morning. I attended the Seventh-day Adventist church, adjacent to the Pentecostal one. I'm inside the church. This man walks in with a long robe, not traditional, normal American clothes. And the minute he walked the door, he took off his sandals. I'm thinking Moses in the burning bush. See, I know my Bible. When he got up to me, we embraced. This black kid said, hey, why don't you come sit next to me? I go sit next to him. We end up inside the sanctuary, and right behind me is that guy in the long robe. when he entered the sanctuary, the people who invited him had said, how long have you known that guy? We just met. We didn't even exchange names yet. After the service, I sat there, introduced myself, talked to him briefly, but basically I was listening to him and the pastor of the church, who's a Greek Orthodox. That's what he grew up. But so I know he knows his Bible. And he loves me. I've got some deaf people there that they see me. Hey, how's it going? They love me. And it's because I don't mind hanging around with people that can't, that are deaf. I am intrigued by sign language. I am a linguist. I love languages and studying them. But anyways, like I say, the deacon, though, that one guy, I not welcome back because of him. So I'm trying to get the right people as I go back later and go to the, or they feed people afterwards. I'm trying to meet with the pastor so I can talk to him personally, so they can talk to this deacon, so I can come back to that church again. See, they were doing a Sunday morning thing. Wait, they don't have services there. They were feeding the homeless. There was a man there, a Bolivian man, bald. He would always give me a $10 bill. There was another guy I was there with, and he was in a wheelchair. They gave him a $10 bill. We would leave there, and we're stocked up on food for it, so we're all right, we're good for now. We would take that and then go on over to the refinery and have coffee and donuts with those people with our food so we could eat after we left. Well, then after the church services, he would give me his money, and I would go down because I had the ID to go to get the weed over at the Grasshopper. And we would make that last us a few days. So we had food for a few days. We had weed for a few days. And I tried to tell these people, don't give them money. Give them food cards, Jack in the Box, Aldi's, someplace where they can just buy the food that they need. The problem with that is that sometimes you can use those, and there are illegal means of reselling those to someone else so that you get the money so that you can get drugs. There's the problem with that. But I'd rather give them a food card that hopefully they'll spend it. If they don't, well, you tried. But simple fact is, I live in a world that's all screwed up. When the police are harassing the homeless instead of helping them get off the streets, that's not helping our community. And the mayor keeps talking about protecting the community. He's not. He doesn't vet the people because Curtis Bittner, who's outside right now, is supposed to be staying away from this place for like 90 days. He's got like another 80 days. I know this because I just spoke to one of the librarians here on that. And he's camped out right outside. I went out to cross the street. I had to walk all the way across the block and go the other opposite end to come back over to the city council because Curtis was there. When the rabbi of Temple Beth Shalom and all these people tell me to walk away, and they don't pay attention that Curtis is chasing me down. I'm ignoring him. I don't want to deal with him. He's a psychopath. Everything he has, he's stolen from homeless people. So when I'm seeing the police protecting him, codifying him, taking care of him, but they're not putting him into a house, they're just not arresting his ass. They're letting him steal whatever he wants from whoever he wants. So I'm wanting to know, where's the damn protection? I have a document I read, and I'm going to be posting that video on YouTube on, where I was assaulted by members of NAMI. So I'm asking the mayor to go ahead and, well, get me one of those 65 tiny houses. I need case management to help me out with my shit until I get my Social Security stuff. Because Donald Trump is trying to fuck it up for me.